Most men think they know how to kiss. They've practiced since their teenage years, believing passion alone would carry them through. But here's the shocking truth. Almost 90% of men are kissing the wrong places, not because they lack skill, but because they don't understand the science. A kiss isn't just skin to skin. It's a biological dialogue between two nervous systems. Every touch sends electrical signals through thousands of microscopic sensors that link directly to the brain's pleasure and bonding centers. When you learn where and how to kiss, you're not performing a trick. You're activating a neurochemical chain reaction of trust, arousal, and emotional openness. The 3 hidden zones we'll explore today, each backed by neurology and psychology, can awaken sensations that most women haven't experienced in decades. This isn't about intensity. It's about awareness. The difference between an ordinary kiss and a transformational one isn't pressure, it's precision. Most men think kissing is about enthusiasm, but what women respond to isn't volume, it's calibration. Rushing, pressing too hard, or focusing only on obvious spots like the mouth and neck overstimulates the wrong receptors and bypasses the ones that create deep emotional bonding. As a urologist and intimacy researcher, I see this mistake repeatedly. Men stimulating the body's surface while missing the neurological gates that lead to the brain's trust centers. True arousal for women, especially mature women, starts in the limbic system, the emotional core of the brain. When you touch with patience, her body switches from a stress-based sympathetic mode to a calm, open, parasympathetic one. That shift isn't psychological, it's measurable. Her heart rate slows, her oxytocin rises, her body literally prepares to connect. Every kiss is chemistry, not metaphorically, but biologically. When lips touch sensitive skin, the body releases oxytocin, dopamine, and serotonin, the exact same trio that governs love, trust, and joy. Oxytocin creates safety, dopamine builds desire, serotonin stabilizes mood. Together, they form the emotional architecture of intimacy, but most men never access the full cascade because they're stimulating only high-frequency nerve fibers that respond to pressure, not the slower, deeper ones called C-tactile afferents. These special fibers fire when touch is slow, gentle, and warm. They're evolution's code for affection. When you kiss slowly enough to activate them, you're literally programming her brain to associate you with safety, connection, and longing. A kiss is a language. Every movement, every pause communicates something. When you rush, you're speaking over her body. When you slow down, you're listening. Women read emotional intent through microbehaviors, your breath, rhythm, even the weight of your hands. This is why a gentle kiss at the right place can mean more than words ever could. It tells her, I see you, I feel you, and I'm not in a hurry. That unspoken message is what turns ordinary intimacy into something she remembers for days. Now that you understand the physiology and psychology of connection, you're ready to discover the 3 hidden kissing zones. These aren't random places. Each is a neurological switch connected to pleasure, trust, and emotional surrender. The hollow at the base of her throat connects to her vagus nerve, her calm center. The soft skin near her wrist connects to sensory anticipation. And the inner thigh connects to the pelvic nerves that create full body arousal. But before we explore them, remember, technique without presence means nothing. A kiss done with reverence, slow, patient, intentional, will always outshine one done with skill alone. At first glance, the hollow at the base of her throat, where the collarbones meet, might seem like just another elegant curve of her body. But biologically, it's one of the most intimate and emotionally charged areas you can touch. Just beneath that soft skin lies a cluster of sensory nerves that connect directly to her vagus nerve, the body's internal pathway for calm, trust, and deep connection. When kissed with care, this area becomes a biological switch. It signals her nervous system to shift out of alert mode and into receptivity. Her heartbeat steadies, her breathing deepens. The subtle warmth of your lips sends a signal that says, you're safe. But this only works when your approach mirrors that safety, slow, deliberate, unhurried, The throat hollow is symbolic, it's proximity to her heartbeat, and voice box means that kissing here is like touching her pulse and her truth at the same time. You're not just stimulating skin, you're speaking directly to her emotional core. When you activate the vagus nerve through gentle touch at the throat, you're triggering a physiological event known as the relaxation response. This is the same mechanism used in meditation and deep breathing exercises, only here, it's created through intimacy. The vagus nerve communicates directly with her heart, lungs, and digestive tract. It tells her entire body, you can relax now. You're safe here. This matters profoundly for arousal. A woman can't truly experience pleasure when her body is in a state of tension or vigilance. She must feel secure before she can surrender to sensation. That's why this small, overlooked area has such power. It's not just physical stimulation, it's neurological permission to let go. When your lips linger here for 3 slow breaths, not rushing, not pressing, you're giving her nervous system time to shift from defense to desire. That shift is everything. It transforms a simple kiss into a full body message. You don't need to protect yourself. You can just feel. This is not a place to rush. Most men press too hard or move too quickly, triggering discomfort instead of pleasure. The secret is stillness before motion. Start with your lips barely touching the surface, letting her feel your breath before your kiss. That single moment of hesitation magnifies anticipation, a neurological amplifier called temporal contrast. Then apply only the gentlest contact. Think of your lips as feathers brushing against silk. The ideal pace is roughly 1 kiss every 5 to 7 seconds, long enough for her body to interpret it as nurturing, not stimulation. Stay here only as long as she stays relaxed. Watch her cues, deeper breathing, relaxed shoulders, closed eyes. If you feel her body soften, you've done it right. The goal is not to arouse her yet, but to open the doorway to deeper emotional safety. Every future touch will work better because this moment told her body, he listens. Kissing her throat isn't just physical, it's emotional translation. You're telling her something that words can't. I see how delicate you are, and I will protect that softness. When a woman allows you near her throat, she's offering deep vulnerability. This area protects vital organs, her airway, her arteries, her voice. When she lets you kiss here, it's not arousal first, it's trust first. That's why this kiss must be reverent, not hungry. You're not taking something, you're being invited into something. And here's what's fascinating. Studies in effective neuroscience show that trust-based touch produces a far stronger oxytocin response than overtly sexual touch. Meaning, gentle kisses here can create emotional intimacy stronger than physical climax. It's a bond written into her biology. After activating the throat hollow, never rush to the next zone. The beauty of this spot is that it prepares her entire nervous system for what's coming next. Think of it as opening a window. You've let in oxygen, light, and calm. Now the rest of her body can respond freely. The best way to move from here is stillness. Rest your lips once more, take a synchronized breath, and let your hand trace upward along her shoulder or downward toward her wrist. That movement becomes a guided transition, leading her from calm to curiosity. When done right, this progression creates continuity, a flow that feels organic, not mechanical. From her throat to her hand, you're carrying the message, I'm not in a hurry to reach your body. I'm here to connect to your whole being. This approach rewires how she perceives desire, not as demand, but as devotion. There's a moment in every intimate encounter when anticipation becomes more powerful than action, and few places spark that tension like the wrist. Just above the pulse point, 2 inches from where her hand meets her forearm, lies one of the most neurologically charged yet overlooked areas of her entire body. This region is home to the superficial radial nerve, a delicate sensory branch that communicates directly with the pleasure centers of the brain. When you kiss her here, you're not arousing her in the conventional sense. You're awakening her anticipation system. It's subtle, elegant, and deeply psychological. Because no one expects to be kissed there, the moment becomes unforgettable. The brain interprets novelty as intimacy. This is why a single kiss on the wrist can feel more personal than a dozen on the lips. It's intimate without expectation, gentle yet electrifying. The human brain loves patterns, but it's addicted to breaking them. The unexpected kiss on her wrist activates an area in the midbrain called the ventral tegmental area, a region responsible for dopamine release linked to curiosity and reward. This is why it feels thrilling even though it's subtle. You've created a micro surprise that rewires her focus toward you. At the same time, the proximity to her pulse carries symbolic weight. You're not just near her heartbeat, you're interacting with it. The gentle warmth of your lips meeting the rhythm beneath her skin is primal. It's a reminder that intimacy is not about taking control, it's about synchronizing. The moment becomes a quiet dialogue between her heartbeat and your breath. One signal saying, "I'm here," the other answering, "I feel you." Technique matters here because this area is subtle and highly responsive. Start by taking her hand naturally as if to hold it. Let your thumb rest lightly against her wrist. Feel her pulse. Then turn her hand gently so her inner forearm faces upward. Maintain eye contact. This moment of quiet attention amplifies every sensation. Bring your lips close and pause. Let your breath warm her skin before making contact. The delay is everything. It allows her nervous system to heighten its awareness. Then kiss softly once without pressure. Move upward along her forearm about an inch at a time, leaving small, lingering kisses. Pause between each one. This pause allows the sensation to expand, what neuroscientists call a sensory echo, a delayed wave of pleasure that travels up the nervous system. By the third or fourth kiss, her brain will no longer process each touch separately. It will perceive a continuous rising current of sensation. That's when her breathing changes. That's when anticipation becomes desire. What makes this kiss so powerful isn't its location, it's its meaning. The inner wrist is rarely touched by anyone but ourselves. It's private, unguarded territory. When you kiss here, you're crossing into that space of quiet vulnerability. It's her unspoken yes, the part of her body that communicates trust without words. Psychologically, this type of touch activates anticipatory arousal, a slow building form of pleasure that relies on emotional context rather than immediate stimulation. Women often describe this as feeling seen before being touched. It's the bridge between emotional intimacy and physical connection. So the next time you're close, don't rush toward the obvious. Take her hand mid-conversation, trace your thumb along the inside of her wrist, and kiss it, slowly, without agenda. The effect will stay with her far longer than you realize. After awakening the wrist, don't break the moment with haste. You've just opened her body's anticipatory circuitry. Now you need to guide it. The best way to transition is through continuity of touch. Let your lips linger one last time, then trail your fingertips gently along her forearm, up toward her elbow or shoulder. This creates a seamless flow of connection from peripheral nerves to central ones, a literal merging of curiosity into comfort. As your hand travels, maintain the same energy of patience and reverence. You're communicating consistency, that every part of her deserves equal attention. When done correctly, this small gesture transforms simple affection into emotional imprinting. She will remember the feeling, not because it was bold, but because it was rare. And from here, the pathway is open to the next hidden zone, the inner thigh, where trust, vulnerability, and full body connection merge into one. There's a moment in every deep connection when stillness turns into invitation. That space exists along the inner thigh, one of the body's most emotionally charged landscapes. This area is not simply erogenous, it's neurological territory rich with sensory fibers of the femoral nerve, the same nerve that feeds into the pelvic region and communicates directly with the brain's pleasure pathways. What makes the inner thigh so powerful isn't just proximity to intimacy, it's symbolism. It represents vulnerability, openness, and surrender. When a woman allows your lips near this region, she's not inviting arousal first, she's extending trust. And trust is the currency of desire. The key here is reverence. You're not taking something from her. You're showing her that even the most sensitive places can be approached with patience and care. When kissed correctly, it's slow, warm, and with pauses that allow her to breathe. This touch becomes an emotional event, not just a physical one. The femoral triangle, located on the inner upper thigh, is one of the body's most complex sensory intersections. It's home to major arteries, lymph nodes, and nerves that send direct sensory input to the sacral plexus, the spinal hub responsible for sexual response. When touched softly, these nerves create what scientists call slow wave arousal, a physiological buildup that primes the body for deeper connection without overwhelming it. But there's a deeper layer. The emotional brain, particularly the insula and anterior cingulate cortex, interprets gentle contact here as a gesture of care, not aggression. It's a message that says, you're safe even in your most private places. That signal allows the body to open without defense. This is why rushing this step destroys the moment. The inner thigh responds not to speed, but to sequence, a gradual increase in warmth and rhythm, mirroring the pace of trust itself. The inner thigh demands a different kind of presence. You must approach it as if it's sacred ground. Start far from the center, near the knee, and work upward slowly, allowing her body to acclimate to each new layer of sensation. Every kiss should last around 3 slow heartbeats. Between each, pause and let your breath hover. These pauses are not empty, they're charging time, letting the nervous system process and deepen the signal. Avoid symmetry. The brain craves unpredictability. Switch from one thigh to the other occasionally, but never abruptly. Think of it as a slow dance, one that builds heat through variation, not repetition. If you see her breathing change or her hips subtly tilt toward you, that's her body's consent. Stay at that tempo. This is the point where you're no longer performing technique. You're co-regulating her nervous system through rhythm and empathy. In modern culture, the inner thigh has been over-sexualized but understood. To her, this region holds complexity. It's both power and vulnerability. How you approach it tells her who you are. If you move too fast, her subconscious reads danger. If you move too mechanically, she feels objectified. But when you move with reverence, slowly, intentionally, and respectfully, her body interprets that as emotional safety. This shift activates not only her physical pleasure pathways, but also her attachment system, the same system that governs bonding and emotional closeness. That's why a kiss here, done with patience, often leaves her quiet afterward, not out of awkwardness, but because her nervous system has entered a rare state of safe arousal. It's the perfect merging of desire and calm. In this state, every next touch feels amplified, not because it's stronger, but because she's fully present. Once you've kissed her inner thigh with true patience, the energy in the room changes. This isn't about moving upward, and it's about deepening inward. You've touched the bridge between her trust and her desire. From here, slow everything down even more. Let your hands stay anchored, not exploring, but grounding. Now you can shift the focus from stimulation to stillness. Rest your lips once more near her thigh. Inhale softly and exhale warmth against her skin. This breathing exchange becomes an energetic dialogue. She feels not just your desire, but your restraint, your presence. When done with intention, this phase becomes almost meditative. You've built anticipation through slowness, and now you convert it into connection. This is the artistry of mature intimacy. It's not about taking, it's about tuning. Once you've explored the hidden pathways, the throat, the wrist, the inner thigh, something deeper begins to unfold. This is where science meets soul. At this stage, your physical movements are no longer isolated actions. They form a synchronized feedback loop between two nervous systems. Neuroscience calls this interpersonal resonance. It's when heart rates, breathing rhythms, and micro-movements unconsciously align. Studies show that couples who experience this physiological synchronization report higher levels of emotional intimacy and satisfaction. In simpler terms, your body and hers are literally communicating in real time. The 3 kissing zones you've learned aren't just spots. They're activation points in this loop. The throat grounds her in safety, the wrist awakens curiosity, and the inner thigh bridges trust to desire. Together, they form a circuit of calm, anticipation, and surrender. When you reach this phase, you're no longer trying to please, you're co-regulating. The experience becomes mutual, not mechanical. Like when a woman feels emotionally safe during deep intimacy, her brain releases oxytocin and vasopressin, the hormones of bonding and memory. These chemicals literally mark moments of emotional closeness, embedding them into her long-term memory as feelings of connection and security. This means the gentle kiss on her throat, the surprise touch on her wrist, or the reverent warmth on her thigh will stay imprinted far beyond the moment. Her mind doesn't just remember the sensation, it remembers the emotional context, the feeling of being seen, safe, and desired without demand. This is what makes intimacy last long after the act itself. It's not the technique that stays with her, it's how you made her feel through that technique. Every careful pause, every breath in sync becomes a neurochemical memory of connection. This level of connection is not born from youth or speed, it's born from maturity. Younger men often chase stimulation, experienced men create experience. The difference lies in tempo and intention. When you learn to slow down, every small detail becomes amplified. The sound of her breath, the warmth of her skin, the way her heartbeat shifts, these become a symphony of cues guiding you. This is the essence of mindful masculinity, the ability to hold desire without rushing it. Your confidence isn't shown through performance, but through patience. You lead not by taking control, but by holding space. True mastery in intimacy means knowing when to move and when to simply be still. Because sometimes the deepest pleasure isn't in the kiss itself, it's in the moment before it happens. At this depth, verbal communication becomes secondary. The body has its own language, subtle, precise, honest. Every sigh, pause, and movement becomes dialogue. Touch communicates things words never could. It says, I see you, I respect you, I'm present with you. When she responds, through her breath, the way she leans in, the way her muscles relax, that's her reply. This is why silence is sacred in deep intimacy. It allows your nervous systems to speak freely without interference. You're no longer 2 people trying to impress one another. You've become 2 systems harmonizing through empathy. For men over 50, this is a revelation. It means performance anxiety fades, replaced by connection. You're not trying to be perfect, you're trying to be real. In the end, these techniques are not about seduction, they're about remembrance. When a woman recalls you, she won't think of what you said or even exactly what you did. She'll remember how calm she felt in your presence. That's the true legacy of intimacy, presence over performance. When your touch carries respect, your voice carries gentleness, and your pace carries patience, you become unforgettable, not because of novelty, but because of authenticity. The hidden kissing zones, the throat, the wrist, the inner thigh, are just metaphors for something larger. Your capacity to notice what others ignore, to move where others rush, to honor what others take for granted, that is the art of the mature lover, not about control or conquest, but connection.